Hi, this is Claire from Verity Papery, and today I'm just going to kind of walk you through a card. These pieces just kind of accidentally collected on my desk, so I decided I just would keep them and try to make a card out of it, and since I already had part of it pulled together, I thought maybe I'd just show you the rest of the card as I make it. I really don't have a plan here, so... Well, I do know that I wanted to use some Paper Smooches stamps, but aside from that, I didn't really have a plan. So I don't have a whole lot of thank you cards, so I thought this thanks would be really cool. And I'm gonna white heat emboss it to make it really pop from the gray pattern paper. You can see that my Versamark ink pad is terrible and it's got ink everywhere, but I tried to keep it clean, but after a while it just didn't really happen. Whenever I'd use my stain stamps, even if I cleaned them beforehand, they'd still somehow get their ink in there. So I kind of just gave up after a while. That looks pretty good. I just wanted to point out that I'm using some Martha Stewart embossing powder, and I really like the dispenser for this. You can easily put your extra embossing powder back into the container, but it's really nice for distributing it because it has those little holes, kind of like a spice container. So I've got that heat embossed, and this is just what I had so far. Probably need to trim this down because it's cut crookedly on one edge, but anyway. And if you're wondering why I have the scissors right here, it's just because the card's a little warped, so that just helps keep everything down. So I might try adding some sequins in here and there. And right now I'm just going to look for some little finishing touches, something to ground this a little bit more. So now I'm just pulling out my scraps from this collection that the die cut in this paper from. So I eventually decide on this green paper. I don't know how much of it I want to have covering the card, but just because it kind of brings out the green in the flowers and kind of lightens it up a little bit. So, plus I haven't really used this pattern paper on a card yet, so I wanted to try it. And it helps that green is my favorite color, so I usually actually have a hard time incorporating it on cards unless it's through like floral patterns. So I think I finally settled on a size that I want, at least for now. I might trim it down a little bit later. And now I just need to think of some finishing touches. So what I'm thinking right now is that the green might be a little too much, so if I could bring in some white, that could be good. Just to kind of tone it down a little bit. I could maybe bring in some craft somewhere, so I might keep that in the back of my mind. And I don't know if you've seen any other videos or watched me make cards, but usually if I'm ever messing with pattern paper, I don't ever quite adhere it down until the end when I'm sure where I want to have everything placed. I don't even know how people can just adhere the paper down without having a plan in mind. That's pretty impressive. So, still trying to figure out what I want to do. I don't feel that it's quite... The green's still maybe a little bit much. I don't know, I'm not sure if I like it right now or not, so I'm going to try playing around with some pearls and see if I just don't think the sequins are bringing in enough of the white. So just going to play with that. So I've decided to go with the sequins. The pearls were a little bit too much. So I'm just going to adhere them in place. And I'm not actually going to adhere anything over here right now. First I'm going to adhere this to the base, but I do want to trim it a little bit. Just because I don't like how just a teeny little bit of the circles are still showing on this one side. And I want to even that out. So I ended up having to take off the sequins before I could cut this, just because they were in the way. And I actually trimmed it down a little bit more than it was before, just because I realized I had cut it crookedly, so I had to trim all the sides again. So now I'm just going to go ahead and adhere it. And it ended up being skinnier than it was before, so I just decided to kind of keep the skinny look. Okay. Now I'm trying to decide what I want to do with this. I'm trying to figure out which papers I want to have popped up. I'm gonna just take some adhesive from the roller and then just roll it in between my fingers. And that gives me kind of like a little glue dot. And I think that's my card. So, you saw it from start to finish. Basically, it's a pretty, I don't know, organic process. I didn't have anything planned ahead of time for this card aside from what I started out with, so I'm really happy that you were able to watch this along with me. Alright, have a great day. God bless.